We are joined by Dan Puckett with Iconic Energy, and today we're talking all things solar. And I think that's the new trend that's going around. Everyone's deciding to change over to solar.
I think everybody's deciding they need to save money.
Right?
Right now, they're getting their Christmas bills confused with their electric bills.
Yeah,
I
right?
mean, that's how high electricity is really going, and it continues to rise.
So do you think that's a main reason, why, many people are going solar?
Well, when I first got in this business, I'm like, I'm going to help the planet. Everybody's going to be ready to go green. But the real reason is people want to save money.
Right.
Helping the planet is secondary, and it really does help. But it saves people a ton of money. One of my first customers, their bill was over $110 a month. Yeah. And we were able to reduce that down to about $15 a month. And they took that money and they started investing in an education fund. They had just had a newborn. And so something like that, you think over, 18 years, is basically they'll have that college paid for.
Right, yeah.
So,
and do you think, a question that always comes to my mind, do you think a lot of people could be hesitant when it comes to going solar because they maybe don't understand exactly what that means?
I think the misconceptions out there and the high pressure sales, of all these people going door to door has really turned people off. Okay. And the best thing to do is just sit down and take a 30-minute consultation with someone, someone you trust and believe in. I mean, and that's what our salespeople, consultants are really designed to do. Give the full information and let you make the decision. Because there's so many incentives out there. There's so many things that will help pay for the system. It's just unbelievable that you could basically have a system paid for in 3 years. Right,
yeah, and you beat me to it. What incentives are available?
So there's something called solar renewable energy credits.
Okay.
If you ever look at your ComEd bill, there's a spot in there that says there's a portfolio, carbon solution portfolio in there. That's money that we actually pay as you pay your electric bill, and then they take that money and disperse it for people who are producing clean energy. So you can get paid a lot of money. That can pay for almost 30% of the system, depending on how much production you're doing. And then you have, ComEd has a rebate right now that helps reduce the system cost according to size also. Like I said, most of our customers' return on investments is somewhere between 2 and 4 years.
Oh, wow.
After they get their incentives back.
Yeah, and speaking of, energy costs, why are they kind of skyrocketing so fast?
Well, the biggest thing that everybody's hearing about are data centers because they're growing and growing and growing. And I think the backstory to that is that people don't realize that energy is a commodity. There's only so much of it out there. And as these data centers suck it up, it gets more and more expensive. Yeah. And the only way to protect yourself is to put your own power plant on your house. And that's what solar is. And it helps reduce your bill, make sure that you do have power. And secondly, it helps the environment. And the cost of a lot of it's already paid for.
Right, yeah. And, a question I have, is there different locations? I know some people may be hesitant to, let's say, putting it on their roof. Is that always an option, or do you have other locations where you could, put those panels?
So we have ground mounts. Yeah, and we can put it on almost any type of roof. I mean, you got to think about that. Do you have a metal roof, shingle roof, ceramic roof? We have mounts that will do it all. But yeah, if you don't want it on your roof, we can put it on a ground mount, and depending if you have the room. Right. Yeah. So.
And what about the process? When should people start looking for solar? How do you go about something, getting in contact with, somebody like yourself at Iconic Energy?
Well, of course, it's iconicenergy.com. Let's throw that plug in there real quick. You can just request a quote. And our sales consultants, they're going to come in, they're going to show you what you can do and how much money you can save, and it's your decision from there. The other thing that you want to look about is it right for you? Right. Some people don't have the house, unfortunately. Okay. Some people have too many trees. Some people rent. I mean, but there's different things that you can do to get around all that.
Yeah, and so is leasing an option for something like this? And what are your recommendations? Is leasing a good thing? How does that whole process work?
I've been on a soapbox for the last 7 years about how leasing is, detrimental to not only to our customers but to our state. So I'm just going to say, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but it isn't, because what happens is these leasing companies come in. They're from all over the United States. Most of them are not located here, and they take your incentives. They get a tax credit on top of that, and then you're stuck in a lease for 25 years which is right now when you start out is probably equal or just a 10% less than your electric bill. But as years go on, you do end up saving, but you're really just switching one bill out for another.
Right.
So there's some cases where people want to lease, but if you put that on your house and you go to sell your house,
Yeah.
that's another big hassle.
Right, because maybe the next person coming in may not want to go solar, something along those lines.
And they don't want to assume that lease.
Right.
Where if you've already bought it, it's on there and you can show somebody, hey, look, I've been saving $100, $200 a month with my solar system. That's just extra money those people don't have to worry about paying about.
Right, yeah. And I kind of liked at the beginning of this interview how you're kind of talking about one of your first customers. What are kind of the reactions, just from, years of customers going solar? What have they told you?
You always get a good feeling. We do home shows, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of customers, oh, you should see my bill's down this. I have one customer that comes in every year. He brings me his bill and he shows me, and he's just so excited about it. And he's saved thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're happy and they know that it's there and it's making them money, because they know if something goes wrong, they have someone here locally that can take care of it.
Right.
And that's the biggest important part. I cannot tell you how many orphan systems that we have picked up and help people get back on track with their solar.
Yeah, that's amazing. I guess you don't even realize how much money you could save, by going solar.
It's just like, people say, well, I'm going to eliminate this bill. It's only this much a month, but it adds up. Think about reducing your electric bill by 80%.
That's incredible.
Right.
That really is. Well, Dan, thank you so much, for talking solar with us today and coming on the show. And for everyone who is watching, Iconic Energy is located at 4617 American Road in Rockford. Now, if you would like to contact a professional to learn more, you can call the number that's on your screen, or you can go to iconicnrg.com.